So together, we have here the spinal accessory and the superficial branch of the transverse cervical artery, which originates from the thyrocervical tract. Of course, you also have the vein that accompanies the artery. Now, the other muscle of the superficial layer is the latissimus dorsi. And when we go to the anterior aspect of the arm, we'll be able to see its neurovascular structures as they proceed towards the latissimus dorsi. So at the medial aspect, you see that there will be overlapping of the origins of the latissimus and the trapezius, because the latissimus also originates from the spines of the lower thoracic vertebra. Okay, now as we reflect also the latissimus dorsi, we expose now the muscles that are attached to the vertebral border or medial border of the scapula. And these are here the levator scapula, which originates from the transverse processes of the upper four cervical vertebra, attached now or inserted to the medial border above the root of the spine. So here. And then from the C7 and even T1, there is a short muscle, the rhomboids minor, attached now to the root of the spine here. Rhomboids minor. And the biggest, that is the arterial portion. This one is the rhomboids major, attached also to the vertebral border, this time below the root of the spine. Now, upon detachment of the three muscles from the vertebral border, we should have seen the neuromuscular supply of the rhomboids muscle. And these are the neurovascular structures. So we expect to find at the inner surface of the rhomboids, inner surface. So if you have the rhomboids this way, so at the inner surface, you're supposed to find the dorsal scapular nerve, which originates directly from C5, from the root of C5, and accompanied by the deep branch of the transverse cervical artery. The other name is dorsal scapular artery to facilitate your memory of the neurovascular structures. Okay, now, so we remove now, we reflect the three muscles, and then we see now respiratory muscles. Yes. So from the vertebra to the upper four ribs, and then from the vertebra to the lower four ribs. So you look at my forceps, you see the direction of the fibers. The lower fibers will insert to the lower four ribs. The upper fibers will insert to the upper four ribs. So that the serratus posterior superior will now act on the rib by elevating the rib, where the serratus posterior inferior will depress the ribs. And then we have the big muscle that is longitudinally disposed, and this is the whole thing would be the sacrospinalis or erector spinae, where you have now the iliocostalis, the lentissimus, and the spinalis. the scapular muscles. Scapular muscles are easy to remember because they occupy foci. So attached to the internal surface or anterior surface of the scapula is the subscapularis. And that is supposed to be covered anteriorly by the serratus anterior, because the serratus anterior will insert to the fossa close to the vertebral border. So, we still would have to remove the serratus anterior before we see the subscapularis. Okay, now, at the supraspinous fossa, this is the spine. Above the spine is the supraspinous fossa or supraspinatus. And below the spine, the infraspinous fossa contains now the infraspinatus muscle. Now, originating from the lateral border or axillary border of the scapula are two muscles. One, the bigger one, is teres major, and the other one is the teres minor. We learned that spaces are formed and bounded by different muscles here. So bounded by the teres minor and the teres major and the long head of the triceps. So here, so my digit, my middle digit is at the triangular space. You look at the process. This here is your triangular space. Boundaries again, teres minor, teres major, long head of the triceps. And coming out of this here is the circumscapular